Hello everyone and welcome to the final game we'll be showing from the Superbet Rapid Blitz tournament. It's a game from the playoffs, Levon Aronian versus Sergey. We've mentioned in the previous video that two of them tied for first place, both of them 20 out of 36, so now they have to battle it out. First they will be playing two rapid games, then two slow rapid games, then two blitz games, and then, an Armageddon if it comes to that. So the first game ended in a draw where Karjakin had the white pieces. Now Levon has the white pieces and, let's just see what happens. And also I would like to mention I'm receiving the feed-in newsletter, so if some of you are not receiving the feed-in newsletter, the exact date for the 2020 candidates tournament has been selected. It's it's March 15th till April 5th. So if any of you, can do something with that information, there it is. So March 15th till April 5th. It's funny because the previous newsletter I received said that it was from March 5th till April 15th. They had it backwards, and I wanted to mention it in the previous video, but I forgot. So it's a good thing I forgot, because it would be incorrect, and some of you might have called your boss and said I'm taking 2 weeks off because of the candidates tournament, and then the candidates tournament will not even be happening at that time. So all hell could have broken loose. Good thing I forgot in the previous video. So remember, March 15th till April 5th. Now getting back to the game, Levon with the white pieces opens with e4, and it's a very exciting line, a very old line. E5, knight f3, knight to c6, with bishop to c4, bishop to c5, and of course the Evans Gambit was not played in this game. Unfortunately, it would be really cool if it was, but we have c3, the Giuoco Piano. So knight to f6, we have d4, e captures on d4, and now e5. And here pretty much d5 is the only good reply black has, which I'm sure if you play this line, you always encounter d5. Bishop to b5, and now knight to e4, getting the knight out of harm's way. We have captures on d4, attacking the bishop, bishop to b6, and now knight to c3. We have castles here, and here bishop to e3. You could try and prevent the bishop from coming to g4 by playing h3, but I think it was proven in a lot of games that if h3, then just f6, for example, is very strong. The white king is still in the center. You don't want to mess around. So bishop to e3, better to just develop a piece. Bishop to g4, and now h3 with tempo. Kick the bishop away. We have bishop to h5, and now queen to c2, unpinning. And it's very important to unpin here. If you don't know that it's okay to unpin here, you might miss a move like queen to c2, but obviously it's a very nice move, because if black decides to mess up white's pawn structure here, it's really not all that important, because white still didn't castle, especially not kingside. For example, if you're not going to capture right away. First, you're going to eliminate this guy here. And now if the game continues with captures here, then you're just going to capture g captures on f3, attack the knight moves, and now queen f5, and the white is doing great here. The knight is attacked twice, rook g1 is coming. You can push your h pawn. It's going to be very dangerous for black, especially in the blitz game. So what you would have to do after bishop captures on f3 and bishop captures here is to just go all the way. Bishop captures on g2, rook g1. Now you capture here, and after rook captures on g2, continue playing this game. While you might be okay here, still white has an open g file, well, semi-open g file. You can just castle queenside, bring the other rook over to g1. Could be unpleasant, especially for a blitz game. So after queen c2, of course, Karjakin doesn't go for something like this. He captures on c3, we have b captures, and now f6. And unlike the previous game between Wesley and Fabi, it's okay in this position to play f6. The white king is still in the center. Of course, you want to open up the center, open up this f file for your rook. So f6, perfectly fine here. We have e captures, queen captures, and now you kind of don't want to allow this. So bishop back to e2, keeping an eye on the knight here. Rook 8 to e8, bringing the rook into the game, and finally 11 castles. And here there are two games that reach this position. Knight to a5 is a no move, king to h8 is a no move, but h6 in this position is a new move. So it is as of move 16 that we have a completely new game. So what do you play here? Rook a to e1, bringing the rook into the game. It's you also might be thinking about bringing this rook to e1. Maybe the other rook can come somewhere else, but really there are no good squares. Like b1, really not a useful square. d1, what's the rook going to do there? So bringing this rook over to e1, and this rook might come useful in guarding the f file. Well, the f pawn. So queen to d6 by black, and now with ideas of maybe infiltrating the position with queen to a3. Also bishop to a5 is an idea. So first we have bishop to c1, not allowing queen a3, also preparing to move the bishop and trade some rooks along the e file. Bishop to a5, and here there are a lot of tactics in the air. You might, well, if white isn't careful, if white plays something like a4 or something, then you just trade everything. Captures, 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 and you eliminated this pawn. So it's a free pawn for black, and it would be a, well, basically a technical win for black. Of course, you cannot capture. The rook on e1 is undefended. So this is what Karjakin has in mind with this bishop to a5 move, amongst other things. So queen to d2 seems a bit ugly, you know, putting your queen in front of the bishop, but it does guard the e1 square, so it's not a problem. The line we've just shown doesn't work. So rook to e4, adding another attacker to the d4 pawn. So here the threat is captures and just the rook captures on d4, as you will not be able to capture back with the c pawn. But Levon has a very surprising move for us. Bishop to d1. And now he says, okay, if you wanted the d4 pawn, you can have the d4 pawn, but you can't overthink it. It's a blitz game. You don't have a lot of time. Sorry, it's a rapid game. They do have a bit more time. Yeah, I don't know why I was saying it's a blitz game. Yeah, sorry about that. Basically, it's a rapid game. But still, you know, you don't have a lot of time in rapid either. So bishop captures on f3, we have bishop captures on f3, and now rook captures on d4. Levon allows this capture, and now, of course, you cannot capture because you just lose the queen here, but you have queen to c2. And now where does the rook go? You can't go here, you can't go here, you can't go here. You could go here, but then bishop g4 traps the rook, g3 will just take it, or you will have to give up the exchange. So the other useful square is c4. This is the only other square. But now you get bishop to a3. This is what Levon plays. He's inviting queen captures on a3 to deliver bishop to d5 check. And after the king moves, just pick up the rook and enjoy this position being up the exchange. So what you can do here, and what is the best move in this position, is actually knight to b4. You block, block the attack on your queen, and also white cannot capture because the rook captures on c2. So what you can do here is just move the queen, but you have to move the queen somewhere. So, for example, black cannot capture on c3. You might play queen to b3, but then you face rook captures on f3, g captures, and now just bishop b6, threatening queen to g3. With check, of course, the f-pawn will not be able to capture, and it's just a very ugly position for white to play. You might play something like this, and then maybe black can just grab a perpetual after something like king h2, queen d6 check, and for example repeating this. But after bishop to a3, Karjakin played bishop to b4. It's a similar idea. It blocks, but with a very important difference that the queen on c2 is not under attack. So here white has the opportunity to play whatever white wants. So feel free to pause the video here and try to find the winning move for Aronian in this position while I give you a couple of seconds. For those of you who were able to do it, congratulations. It is the only winning move in the position, so congratulations to you. And for those of you who just want to enjoy the show, it's queen to d3. Point being that now there are too many threats. Pawn captures bishop, just loses a piece. Bishop captures on d5 check, will pick up the rook on c4. So it's very hard to defend everything. There is an engine defense here with rook to d4, but who plays this? I mean, it's still winning for white, of course, but point is to just close off the d file and pick up the bishop on a3 and try to defend this position, being down the exchange, which is not terrible. I mean, worse things happened in chess. But Karjakin played rook captures on f3 instead, just eliminating this threat of bishop captures on d5. We have queen captures on f3. And now he played bishop captures on a3, but it doesn't help. Any other move isn't that great. For example, if you try something like rook f4, to prevent queen to f5 check after rook to e8, then you just get bishop captures on b4, which wins a piece. Because now both of the queens are under attack, so once you capture it, now you play rook to e8 check, king h7, and queen to d1, and okay, now you are up the exchange, and if black really wants to save the knight, move the knight back, then you go queen b1 check, and now after g6, for example, you go rook fe1, now threatening just to go to e6, then there will be threats against the g6 pawn, and there is not much to do. If you move the queen so rook e6 doesn't come with check, you can even capture on b7, then there are ideas of just sacrificing the queen for the knight, followed by rook e7 mate, just a very unpleasant position. So basically after this queen captures on f3 move, Karjakin went for bishop captures on a3. You know, if white doesn't have anything, then black is just winning. But of course Levon played rook to e8 check, king to h7, and queen to f5 check, and it was in this position that Sergey Karjakin resigned the game, as there is nothing more to do here. If you move the pawn to block check, queen f7 is mate, and if you don't, if you play queen to g6 blocking, then of course I'm sure you all see the win here. It's rook to h8. Of course, you just deflect the king from defending the queen, and then you just pick up the queen, and you are, of course, completely winning. So yeah, with this win in the game 2 of the Rapids of the playoffs, Levon Aronian is the winner of the Superbet Rapid and Blitz part of the Grand Chess Tour, which is great stuff. And he definitely gets closer to reaching London, the London Chess Classic, and I believe for Karjakin, without winning this event, I don't think he is close to entering the London Chess Classic, but I'm not sure. I'm gonna check out the all of the standings for London, so then we're gonna talk about it a bit more. I haven't checked it in a while. But yeah, that's the game. Levon takes it all. I do hope you enjoyed it. I would like to thank Randy Raveling for a contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you soon. We're now going to go back to covering the FIDE Grand Prix, checking up on your wonderful suggestions, and when I get back from Germany, hopefully, starting a vote on our next big saga, because it's not an easy decision. So thank you all, I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day.